Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in today's update, we are going to check out Avalanche's price chart and see what is going on and basically everything relative to the previous video. I'm gonna say pretty much went according to what we expected. But the main point of today's update doesn't necessarily come down to technical analysis side of the stuff. No, it's actually more about fundamentals. And if you look at the charts or maybe listen to the noise on Twitter, yes, you might think that Avalanche is quiet, maybe even I'm not gonna go really that far and say maybe it's dead, but some of you do actually think like that since generally the whole altcoin market at the moment is down. But while the price has been sleeping, that's absolutely fair, the team behind the scene actually has been signing the biggest names in the history of finance. And by that, I am talking about the kind of people who control the world's money and the world's entertainment. And I recently saw this clip from John Huss, which I think it's the CBO of Avalanche. And honestly, this completely destroys the AVAX is dead or maybe AVAX is quiet narrative. Just give this one a listen.
With the likes of JP Morgan, T. Rowe, Wellington, Citi, KKR, Apollo, BlackRock. On the institutional side, FIFA, Nexon from Korea, major gaming publisher, doing music and loyalties as well. Even FanHub, NFT ticketing, so Sports Illustrated tickets, TickSpace, and then the crypto native side from DeFi and all the emerging kind of primitives on the financial side.
Okay, did you catch those important names or not? We are going to, in today's update, break down every single partnership real quick, and then we're going to go on the live chart because it's very important to understand, by the way, that these aren't really just like, for example, maybe paid partnerships. No, these companies are actually building very much real infrastructure on Avalanche. And first, let's talk about the finance giants, including JP Morgan, Citi, KKR, Apollo, and also BlackRock. Why are they choosing Avalanche? Two words, evergreen subnets. You see, think of Ethereum as, for example, like a public bus. It is very much crowded and everybody pays the same ticket price. Banks cannot use a public bus for billions and billions of dollar transactions, and they need privacy and also compliance at the same time. And Avalanche, guess what? Absolutely allows them to actually build their own specific private limousines called subnets, and that is still also able to connect to the crypto vault. JP Morgan and also Apollo, they use this to test how to manage massive investment portfolios on chain, and KKR actually tokenized a healthcare growth fund on Avalanche, and that means real private equity is fully live on the AVAX network. And also, I forgot to tell you this at the beginning, Citi actually tested foreign exchange pricing on Avalanche subnet as well. And this, my friends, is literally the plumbing of the next financial system, okay? It doesn't just pump the price today, and it's not even a guarantee that is going to help the price, let's say, even in like the next couple of weeks. No, but having said that, in my view, this actually does guarantee survival for the next decade, which is what I really care about. I'm going to tell you in a couple of minutes why do I care about that specifically. But you might say at this point, well, okay, finance is just absolutely boring, right? Well, let's actually talk about mass adoption also a little bit, because John in this clip also mentioned FIFA, Nexon, and also Sports Illustrated. You see, if you are a gamer, you are absolutely familiar with the name MapleStory. It has millions of loyal players, and they aren't just building a crypto game. They are moving their entire MapleStory universe into a dedicated Avalanche subnet, and this, in my view, is going to bring millions of potential users who don't really even know they are using crypto. And finally, let's talk about Sports Illustrated and also TickSpace, because they are actually moving tickets onto the blockchain space to stop scalpers and fraud. And again, they chose AVAX because it is fast, cheap, and scalable, not because they liked Avalanche, okay? They saw real value in what AVAX has to offer. That's why they actually chose it. It's very important to understand that. So here's a disconnect for you. You see, on one hand, you got crypto Twitter chasing meme coins and saying AVAX is quiet Some of them actually to a degree say basically this is a dead project. On the other hand though, you have literally the world's largest banks and game publishers actually building on Avalanche right here, right now as we are talking about it. And this gap between price and reality, in my view, is where the real opportunity that is going to make you a lot of money actually lives. Look, this is definitely not financial advice because I'm not in a position to give you any financial advice, but my point of view is actually quite simple. You see, in the mid to long term, I believe that what is going to win big time is going to be utility. When the hype is going to fade, the chains that are right now being used by JP Morgan and also FIFA are the ones that will still be here. The chains that big institutions are building on them are, in my view, going to be the ones that are going to still be here. And in my view, AVAX is definitely one of them. And sure, in terms of current price, we are absolutely down. I'm not going to deny that. However, in my opinion, this is going to be a massive, massive gift for all of us. And if you want to buy AVAX right now, you are getting in while the market is fully distracted. And it's very important to understand that, again, you are buying the kind of technology that BlackRock and KKR are betting on at a massive, massive discount. So what do you think? Do you believe this is a great opportunity? In my view, yes, I think so. That's why in every single update in Avalanche, I am just screaming from the top of my head, look guys, I am going to just buy and buy more Avalanche. And if we are going to go down in the short term a bit more, you know what? Why not? I'm just going to take advantage of that massive buy opportunity because ultimately, I do think we are going to witness an insane bull run, hopefully by the end of this cycle. And you know what? Let's say I am wrong and let's not even be that optimistic. Let's just argue by the end of this cycle in Avalanche, we are going to have from these areas, possibly even a bit lower. Again, not really important. We're just going to have maybe another move on the upside in order to take these highs right in here, which the highest one is about, let's say, $65. You know what? Fair enough. Even that, from the current point, it is essentially like a 500% move on the upside. And I don't know about you guys, from my POV, this is actually a great investment opportunity since I believe in the fundamentals of Avalanche, okay? And I want you to understand this. Please, 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 do not even listen to me. Go do your due diligence, come up with your own conclusion. And then if you think, yeah, you know what, this is actually a great project with solid fundamentals and it does have a bright future and it is not, and also it's not going to be a dead project, then okay, feel free to just buy the dips because you are right now literally buying around the same prices that we were all the way back down here in October of 2023, essentially about, let's say, two and a bit years ago. And I don't know about you guys, again, from my POV, this is just an insane discount. And also, if you're interested in technical analysis side of stuff, even in that area, in my view, in Avalanche, we are looking quite optimistic. Why? Because in my opinion, this is from the lowest low to about the highs, a beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulsive structure on the upside back in this bull run in 2020, 2021, followed by that. So far, as long as we are not going to take the lows in here about $8.6, I'm going to argue this is an ABC, and followed by that, maybe we are going to have a move on the upside. If you want to call this thing an ABC as well, you know what, fair enough. On the other hand, if you want to be more bullish in Avalanche, I guess you can say maybe this is going to be 5 up into 1, correction 4, 2, and what's next? You know it. Great move on the upside into wave 3, 4, 5, which in this wave 3 only, I think in AVAX, we are going to set an all-time high and take the highest high all the way up here, about $150. And I think we actually do have the potential to go quite a bit higher than that. But I do think that those prices are actually going to be seen in the next bull run, maybe in about a couple of years. For now, let's just expect a great move up in Avalanche in order to take the highs, go maybe I would say to somewhere around $90 to $100 region, and even that one is like an 8-9x move on the upside. And when we get there, we got plenty of times to make new updates and assess the situation based on the moves that we are going to get. All I know is this, right around the lows is a great buying opportunity. And having said that, please, 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 your base case should not be having a bounce from the current area, although I do think probably somewhere around here we are going to hit the lows, but your base case, just like me, shouldn't really be having a bounce from here. No, your base case always and always should be seeing just lower prices, because if it happens, you are absolutely going to be ready for it, and you're just going to buy the dips one by one in order to get your average purchase as low as possible. And if it doesn't happen, and from here we're going to get a massive bounce and start the next major phase of the bull run, you know what? Fair enough. You're just going to be pleasantly surprised, which is always nice. Now, having said all that, let's go on also some lower time frames and talk about the short-term price action, and then wrap up today's update. So if you remember, the last time that we talked about Avalanche, we were right around these areas, and the idea was that, well, okay, there's a decent chance this might be a correction structure, but if you want to be bullish, fair enough, just be a bit more patient and see, are we going to have a move on the upside, from here, in order to go above the line, do a pullback, and get a continuation of the move up. If we do this, at that point, this head and shoulder is going to essentially be confirmed, meaning we are going to see higher prices, and who knows, maybe and hopefully even this is going to be our final low. But we definitely said, if you remember, this shouldn't really be our base case, and unfortunately what we expected played out. As you can see, we got a bit of a move on the downside. And what was the main reason for it? Do you remember? Yes, we said, look, right around these areas in AVAX, we don't really have a whole lot of strong support until the next one all the way down here between, let's say, 10 to about $11.2. And recently we actually pinpoint nailed the higher band of this important region, and we got, let's say, so far at least, like a temporary bounce. Question though, at what point should we be bullish in Avalanche and call this thing potentially even our final low? I think you know the answer. You see, if you want to be bullish on any chart and you want to say, right here we're going, for example, hit our final low, fair enough, show me off of the lowest low, 5 wave up, in order for me to be maybe a bit more optimistic. However, even right around the highs in here is not going to be a buy opportunity. At that point, you just have to be a little bit more patient and see, are we going to have maybe a slow and choppy move on the downside? And if we get it, and in here we manage to identify the correct subwaves, fair enough, from a trader's perspective, this is going to be a great long opportunity. Now, if you are not in the trader group and you are, maybe I would say to a degree like me, just a fair value investor, and you want to buy projects that are around the lows and they have solid fundamentals, then okay, right around these areas, as long as we are just going lower and lower in Avalanche, should be fantastic buy opportunities for you. If you want to overall know when from here, or maybe a bit lower, doesn't really matter, we get a 5 wave up followed by a slow and choppy pullback. And in here, trust me, I am going to be screaming bullish in Avalanche. And I don't really believe that, for example, from here, we are going to have like an immediate insane move on the upside in order to get a break of this level and go like much, much higher. No, I think we need to first build a setup, basically a base for our huge, magnificent bull run. And then, okay, as long as, again, we identify the right subwaves in here, we can argue, you know what, yes, this is actually the launch pad for a beautiful, great, wonderful move on the upside. Overall, these prices, in my view, are massive, massive dead counts. That is why in every single update, I am just screaming, look guys, I am just a big buyer of Avalanche right around the lows, and I will continue to buy as long as we are going to see lower prices. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Avalanche's chart. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time with your family and loved ones. Goodbye.